Have you ever wondered how the concept of nationalism shaped the world's largest democracy, India? Nationalism, a sense of belonging to one's country, has been a powerful force in shaping societies across the globe. It's a universal phenomenon, often serving as the glue that binds people together, defining their collective identity. In India, the story of nationalism is a complex, intriguing tale, woven through centuries of its history. Join us as we unravel the journey of Indian nationalism. Our journey begins in the late 19th century, a period of colonial rule. It was in this era, against the backdrop of foreign yoke, that the first seeds of nationalism were sown in the Indian subcontinent. The raw feeling of being subjugated, of being ruled by a distant power, began to stir a sense of unity among the diverse peoples of India. One of the key events that marked the early formation of nationalism was the establishment of the Indian National Congress in 1885. This was a turning point in India's political awakening. The Congress, initially formed by a group of liberal-minded Indians and supported by Englishmen, began as a platform for polite dialogue with the British rulers. However, it gradually evolved into a force that championed the cause of Indian self-rule, or Swaraj as it was popularly known. The late 19th and early 20th centuries saw the Congress evolve from a petitioning body to a more assertive organization. It began to voice the aspirations of the Indian populace, articulating their desire for political rights and civil liberties. The Congress annual sessions became rallying points for nationalists from across the country, fostering a sense of collective identity among Indians. Another pivotal moment in the rise of Indian nationalism was the Partition of Bengal in 1905. The British colonial rulers, in a classic move of divide and rule, split Bengal into two halves, ostensibly on administrative grounds. However, this move was seen by many as an attempt to sow discord among the Hindu and Muslim communities of Bengal. The partition sparked widespread protests and marked the beginning of the Swadeshi movement, which called for the boycott of British goods and the promotion of Indian-made products. This event further fueled the flames of nationalism, transforming it from a political movement into a mass movement. But this was just the beginning. India's struggle for freedom was about to intensify. As the 20th century dawned, the cries for freedom grew louder. In the heartland of India, a spirit was awakening, a spirit of nationalism, of unity, and of a collective desire for freedom from colonial rule. This was a time when the subcontinent was beginning to rumble with the echoes of its own voice, a voice that was becoming increasingly impossible to ignore. One of the pivotal moments that fueled this rising tide of nationalism was the Jallianwala Bagh massacre in 1919. An event of such brutal violence, it left an indelible mark on the psyche of the nation. Hundreds of innocent lives were lost, and a nation was left in mourning. But from this devastating tragedy, a stronger resolve for freedom emerged. In the following years, the civil disobedience movement led by Mahatma Gandhi took the nation by storm. This nonviolent protest against the British salt tax was a masterstroke of civil resistance. It was not just a dissent against a tax, but a powerful statement of self-reliance and defiance, a message to the British Raj that India was ready to stand on its own feet. Then came the Quit India movement in 1942, a clarion call for the British to leave India, led by prominent leaders like Jawaharlal Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose. The movement was a turning point, marking a final decisive phase in the struggle for freedom. These key events, these moments of bravery and defiance, were the stepping stones on the path towards independence. They were the rallying cries that roused a nation and its people, fueling their desire for freedom and self-determination. The leaders of these movements, figures like Mahatma Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru, and Subhash Chandra Bose, became the torchbearers of this rising nationalism. They were the voices that echoed across the land, inspiring millions to join the freedom struggle. India's fight for freedom was not just a political struggle, it was a battle for national identity. A battle that was fought with courage, resilience, and an unwavering belief in the power of unity. On August 15, 1947, India awoke to a new dawn of freedom. As the British Empire retreated, an independent India emerged, a nation reborn from the ashes of colonial rule. The role of nationalism in shaping this new India was paramount. It was a binding force, a unifying sentiment that knitted together the diverse fabric of the nation. This was a country of over 400 languages, countless ethnicities, and myriad customs. Yet the spirit of nationalism, the shared pride in being Indian, transcended these differences. It was the glue that held the nation together in the face of adversity. and adversity was plentiful. The partition that accompanied independence resulted in one of the largest mass migrations in human history, leading to communal violence, loss, and deep-seated animosity. The fledgling nation was also grappling with the monumental task of establishing a democratic framework, an endeavor fraught with challenges given the country's diversity and the lingering scars of colonial rule. Yet, it was within this crucible of challenges that the strength of Indian nationalism shone brightest. It stirred the collective conscience of the nation, fostering unity in diversity. It was a rallying cry that spurred the people to rise above their differences, to work together towards building a democratic, secular, and inclusive India. Nationalism also played a vital role in shaping India's foreign policy, with non-alignment and peaceful coexistence becoming its cornerstones. It was the driving force behind India's push for self-reliance, leading to initiatives like the Green Revolution that aimed to make the country self-sufficient in food production. But nationalism was not just about overcoming challenges. It was also about aspiration, the dream of building a nation that stood tall among the world's leading countries. It was this dream that propelled India into the space age, culminating in the successful launch of the Mars orbiter mission. But as India moved towards the 21st century, the idea of nationalism began to evolve. In the 21st century, nationalism in India is a complex and multifaceted concept. It's a web of diverse threads, each representing a different aspect of society, politics, and media, all intertwined to form the fabric of modern Indian nationalism. Nationalism has always been a powerful force, but in the modern era, it's taken on a new dimension. It's been harnessed by the media and political establishments to construct narratives that serve their ends. These narratives, often amplified by the echo chambers of social media, shape the public's perception of what it means to be an Indian nationalist. The challenge, then, is to navigate these narratives, to discern the truths from the distortions. It's a test of our collective ability to understand the nuances of an ideology that is as diverse as the country itself. The challenge also lies in balancing the pride in one's nation with the recognition of its flaws and the willingness to address them. Politics plays a significant role in shaping modern Indian nationalism. Political parties frequently use nationalist rhetoric to rally support. However, this can lead to a polarized society where nationalism is equated with loyalty to a particular party or ideology rather than to the country itself. Similarly, society also contributes to shaping this concept. It's through the lenses of caste, religion, and regional identities that people often interpret nationalism. These social divisions have the potential to distort the idea of nationalism, turning it into a tool for division rather than unity. Nationalism, in its truest sense, should be about celebrating diversity and striving for a more inclusive society. It should be about recognizing the common threads that bind us as a nation, while also acknowledging and respecting our differences. So, where does this leave us? What is the future of nationalism in India? The answer lies in the hands of the people, in their ability to navigate the complexities of modern nationalism and shape it into a force for unity, progress, and inclusivity. As we look towards the future, the path of Indian nationalism remains uncertain. The seeds sown during the freedom struggle have grown into a tree that stands tall and proud, representing the unity of a diverse nation. Yet the same tree also faces storms of challenges that test its roots and branches. In the past, we've seen how nationalism fueled the fight for independence and the birth of a nation. Today, modern nationalism grapples with a myriad of issues, from regional tensions to social inequality. Looking ahead, there are several possibilities. Nationalism could continue to be a unifying force, bolstering the ties that bind India's myriad cultures and communities. Alternatively, it could morph into a more divisive force, exacerbating regional and cultural differences. The younger generation plays a pivotal role in steering this course. They are the ones who will shape the future of Indian nationalism, either by embracing the unity it offers or challenging the divisions it may create. They are the ones who will decide whether nationalism remains a source of pride or morphs into a source of conflict.